Welcome to the Inn Under the Chestnut Tree. Dear guests, my name is Heinrich and I am the landlord of this cozy inn. Here, under the sprawling branches of the old chestnut tree, many stories have accumulated over the years. Some of them are true, others are the product of our visitors' vivid imaginations. Sit down, enjoy a cool drink and let the stories take you to distant times and wondrous worlds. But be warned, not all of the stories you will hear here are happy. Many are sad or tragic and reflect the ups and downs of life. Whether the stories actually happened or not remains our little secret. Enjoy listening and dreaming. The Man in the Forest. It was shortly after World War II. The family lived in a small mountain village surrounded by a dense forest. The village's houses were simple, built of wood and stone, and the people lived modestly. To survive, the two older siblings, 13-year-old Anna and 12-year-old Paul, gathered forest fruits and mushrooms in the summer. Their parents worked hard in the fields, but this was often not enough to feed the family. One day, as they were walking in the forest, they met a strange man. He was tall and wore a worn coat. His eyes seemed friendly, but also tired. He spoke to Anna for a long time, while Paul stayed close by and watched. The man talked about distant places and adventures he had experienced. After a while, Anna walked a little way with the man. Paul could not hear what they were talking about, but he saw the man give Anna some money. When she came back, she held the money tightly in her hand. She gave Paul some of it and told him not to tell anyone about what had happened. The next morning, Anna woke her brother up early and told him to go to the forest with her again. She promised him that he would also get money if he was good. Paul, who trusted his sister, followed her. So the two siblings often spent the summer in the forest. They collected berries and mushrooms, but they also kept meeting the strange man. The man kept coming back. He was never violent, but he always took what he wanted. Anna and Paul knew that what they were doing was not right, but they had no other choice. The money they got helped their family survive. The days in the forest were long and exhausting. Anna and Paul often had to walk far to find enough berries and mushrooms. They knew the best places in the forest and knew which plants were edible and which were not. Their mother had taught them how to recognize the different types of mushrooms. Some were poisonous, and it was important to avoid them. The siblings worked hard, but they also had their moments of joy. They played hide-and-seek among the trees and told each other stories to pass the time. One day, when they were back in the forest, Anna told her brother about a dream she had had. In her dream, they were both in a big city, far from their village. The streets were full of people, and the buildings were tall and magnificent. Anna dreamed of one day seeing that city and living a better life. Paul listened carefully to her and promised her that one day they would travel there together. The encounters with the strange man became routine. He sometimes brought them small gifts, like sweets or toys that he had found somewhere. Anna and Paul gratefully accepted the gifts, even though they knew they were paying a high price for them. The man told them stories about his own childhood and the places he had visited. He spoke of hope and of the possibility of a better life, but his words often sounded hollow. Summer passed, and autumn brought cooler days. The leaves on the trees turned bright colors, and the harvest season began. Anna and Paul helped their parents in the fields, but they also continued to go into the forest to meet the strange man. They knew that winter was approaching and that they would need as much money as possible to survive the cold months. One day, when they were back in the forest, Paul noticed that Anna was quieter than usual. She seemed lost in thought and was hesitant in answering his questions. Finally, she stopped and looked at him seriously. "Paul," she said quietly, "we must stop meeting the man. What we are doing is not right. We must find another way to survive." Paul was surprised, but he understood what his sister meant. He nodded and promised her that they would find a way together. They decided not to stay in the forest any longer that day and returned home. In the weeks that followed, they looked for other ways to earn money. They helped neighbors with the harvest, gathered wood for the winter, and did whatever they could to support their family. Winter came, and the days became shorter and colder. The family moved closer together to warm and support each other. Anna and Paul eventually told their parents about the strange man and the meetings in the forest. Their parents were shocked and sad, but they were also proud of their children for having the courage to tell the truth. The years passed, and Anna and Paul grew up. They always remembered the difficult times after the war, but they also knew that these experiences made them stronger. They continued to dream of a better life and worked hard to make their dreams come true. And although the memories of the strange man and the meetings in the forest never completely disappeared, they found comfort in the fact that they had gone through this difficult time together.